Welcome to another episode of Black Ice Reality Check, where the truth will set you free or cause a lot of pain. We have Sean Alexander back on the show, aka the Great Alexander, here again for a second edition.
Part two.
Hey Sean, great to have you again. We had some of your reels and blow up.
Yeah.
And there was quite a request to have you back. And there was a lot of people that had a lot of questions. There's a lot of people that didn't agree with your content, my content. And we were just talking about that offline. Maybe you can talk about watching the content versus understanding and really understanding the message of the content.
It's very transparent that the women who disagree with I can understand many of the things that they disagree with, like misogyny and all that stuff. I don't blame them for that. But some of the things that, like, for example, that I spoke about with no compromise, to have this hard stand of a disagreement is and here's the thing, not even listen to what's actually being said. Because I'm talking about not compromising anything from my priority list that's going to help me get to where I want to be, that I won't even compromise 1% of my priority list. And there's people that are coming out saying, you don't even have 1% of your time to give to your woman. It's like, that's not what I said. I said for my priority list. I never said about 1% of my time. Obviously, why would I even bother wasting my time if it's only 1%? So you got to learn to listen very carefully, because that's part of today's problem in relationships, and why they're failing is because there is a failure and an inability to listen, to actually hear what's being said, versus listening for the sake of replying and wanting a ground to stand on because you want to feel self-empowered and almighty and flex on your fucking man for no reason. But are you even hearing what's being said? Because clearly, from a podcast, a 60-second clip, you're not even listening to what I'm saying, and you're already jumping down. And here's the thing, you have high quality, high value women that are jumping in saying, like, what are you guys talking about? You're not even listening to what this man is saying. Right. You know, as a matter of fact, I want to read something here. Like this one young lady. You should record the screen. She came in because this guy came in and actually attacked us on this topic. And she comes in and says, anyone, a man or a woman, should put themselves first. You can't pour from an empty cup. A partner is never my first priority. They and the relationship usually come second or third, depending on what happens in my life. I expect the same from my man. He has to be his priority. It is suffocating when your life revolves around the other person. Why are so many women getting triggered by this? The reality is, this is a female. The reality is, a high-value woman won't put up with anything else. I settled for years with men who were not prioritizing themselves, and left each and every time. Learned the hard way that trying to mold someone for better or worse never works. Lifestyles and values and vision got to be compatible. Unless you are in your early 20s, chances are they won't change. She goes on later on and says, you only got the rest of your life. Anything and anyone else is outside of your control. Prioritizing someone or something over yourself and your purpose is what kills you when the wheels turn. Right. This is a female that's coming in and checking these women, like, where are you guys coming from?
I think, and I talk about this, I say don't kill the messenger, right? And a lot of the feedback I see from some of these women is, where do you guys get this information? Look, Sean's a mental and wellness coach, I'm a lifestyle coach, dating coach, or relationship coach. And we both are successful in our own businesses in our own right mind and on paper. But we have spent time with women and men over and over, multimillionaires, successful women, beauty pageant looking women, guys that look like, Adonis, right? Like the Greek god or whatever. But we don't make this up. It's what we see. It's our data that we extrapolate. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's real life information.
It's real life data that we
real
get from
time.
people. And then on top of that, we read. We read and we research our topic.
Yeah.
So when we're giving you the message, don't kill the messenger.
Well, obviously, our belief is entangled in that message as well, because we agree with what's being said. So sure, is there a bit of a biased opinion? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, it is the reality of it, because we are seeing what's happening. Men's mental health is being compromised more than ever right now, because, for one, men are compromising because people are telling him you have to compromise, you have to meet in the middle. And the very thing that makes a man feel strong and manly and mentally empowered is having a purpose in life. Men have two purposes in life. First is what he wants out of life, where he's going, the difference he wants to make. And second is also his family and his children. Now, that doesn't mean this is first, this is second. It's not about who has first place and who has second place. However, by prioritizing the purpose of what I want out of life and where I'm going, that enables me to take care of my family. That enables me to protect and provide. That also enables me to give my family experiences that they won't get anywhere else. And if I'm not able to protect and provide them with the financial side of things, then where else are they going to get that experience? Because they might leave me. That's one. Second is I might be limited to the experience I could provide them. Because at the end of the day, you know this, with great experience requires great money. And you can't deny that. A lot of, you know how many people say, oh, I wish I had that car. I wish I had your car, Sean. I wish I could go to Aspen. Yeah. Guess what? If you aren't taking care of your purpose and going after your purpose without compromising, do you think you're going to be able to make the money you want? No. And guess what? Now you have sacrificed, you have now sacrificed your personal self-worth, your self-belief, because you gave it up, you sacrificed it. Now, how much drive can you possibly have when you do that? Because now you don't even believe in yourself anymore. And then they wonder why men are depressed, sad, upset, suicide. Like all these things, men's mental health is being compromised because they're just giving up. Man, our internal flame is not lit because we grow old to want to have a family. We grow old having a purpose in life of wanting to make a difference, conquer the world. And in the mix of that journey, we meet someone beautiful and say, I want this person as a wife. I'm going to support her. I'm going to push her to chase her goals as well. And I want a child with this person. And guess what? Now the flame is even hotter. Now you got a blue flame. But to pretend like these things don't exist that makes a man who he is silly. And that's why there's the statistics that are coming out where by 2030, over 50% of women are going to be single if it keeps going in the direction that it's going. Because this mentality and behavior is not serving them like they think it is.
100%.
And the reality is, men can survive. If it came down, men can survive.
Well, and biologically, we were born to survive.
Right.
See, this is the other thing that men don't realize and people don't realize. Success is something you have to have a desire for. You're not born with success. You're born to survive. We all know how to survive. That's instinctive. But to go beyond the next step, the next level of fortitude is, how do I go to the next level? And that's where you come in. You help coach people. You help coach men and women. But you have to have a drive. And I always say, what's the why? The what? And hear me out. I had a mentor tell me this one time. If your why is so big enough, the how doesn't matter.
Correct.
Because
you'll figure it out.
Why are you doing what you're doing? Oh, money. No. Okay. Because we already know how to survive. We can all live paycheck to paycheck. We can figure that out. You know, because I see people out there today. I was just talking to a gal last night. Sat down in a one-on-one. She's like, oh, I made my money. I'm done. You're done? Like, you're just making enough to pay bills and buy a Birkin bag, and now you're done.
So you don't want to grow anymore.
You don't want to grow anymore.
So how much value are you really going to provide?
Right. And then her mindset was, well, you know, I don't want to work that hard. And
okay.
I said, let me ask you a question. Did your mom work? She said, yeah. I said, how old's your mom? She gave me a number. You know, she's in her 70s. I said, well, do you want to retire your mom? That's your freaking why, right? It's not about us. Success, how many people's lives are you impacting, right? If you impact somebody's life, the reward comes back monumental, right? It's priceless. You're not doing it for money. But if you don't impact other people's life, you can't grow and you're not going to grow. And like, there's a passion you have in your family, personal challenges you've had with your family, your immediate family.
Right.
You can choose to discuss those. I know those. So by you making more money, you can start centers. You can start a drug rehab, I'm not referring to your family, drug rehabilitation center where you coach people.
Right.
That takes
the right way.
That takes money. Yeah, not a therapist that's never been on freaking drugs, or not a therapist that's going to give you marriage counseling that's never been married and divorced because they don't know the flip side to it. And are you with me?
Yeah. Well, that's oh man. Since you went into that topic, look, I come from 18 years of depression. 10 years my father beat my face in. 10 years of drug addiction. 3 attempted suicides. Who the fuck do you think is going to be able to walk you through with a proper blueprint to take you from where you're at to a better place? You're going to go to a therapist that knows nothing about drug addiction, that doesn't know anything about depression, that doesn't know about what it feels like when you try to take your life? Do you think someone that has textbook knowledge versus real life knowledge is going to be able to compete to walk you from where you're at and out of your current circumstance? No.
Not at all.
It's no different. Davrick, if you and I have a mentor, you have a mentor. My current mentor is worth 8 figures. Would I go to someone that's making $100,000 to help me get to 8 figures,
Absolutely
being at 7
not.
figures right now?
Absolutely not.
No. Because just because they have the tools they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So why would it? So same thing. If I'm gonna go to a therapist or a psychologist, and I know this is going to cause some serious triggers, and I've always believed in it. You want to go to a therapist, that's fine. Interview them. Interview them before they start helping you.
Right.
See if they even meet up to the prerequisites of why they deserve to be sitting in front of you to help you. Because when I get into these battles, these wars with these therapists, I'm like, hey, were you ever an addict or an alcoholic? No. Okay. Were you ever depressed? Like real depression? No. Were you ever abused as a child? No. Did you ever try to take your life? No. Okay, well, I have all of those. So do you really think that your fucking textbook knowledge is going to be able to walk someone through getting better versus me that has a real life blueprint? Because I went through it all.
Right. And back when I'm working with these couples, single men, I've been married twice. I left by my choice, right? I've been through it. I know what to do and not to do. And I'm telling men, I'd say, wait till you're 35 before you're married, because you're still growing.
Go after your goals.
Your value goes up as a man. You're not old at 35 as a man. Men can reproduce up in their 80s. They have children. So your peak comes at 35 as a man, because you keep making more money as you get older. And some people go past that, right? As you've seen. But these guys get out at 28 years old, and they're like, hey, I'm going to propose. What do you think? Like, I'm not going to tell you not to get married, but I'm going to tell you be smart. Do the studies.
But here's the thing, and we're not just making this up. Gary Vee has even talked about this. He even says, in your 20s, forget about a relationship, forget about a party,
Right.
Go become successful, make money, build a business, and then focus on a relationship in your 30s. If you have the ability to stay single and focus on building your life so that when you turn 30, you are a millionaire, fucking do that first.
Dude, this book right here. See this book? Rollo Tomasi's book right here, The Rational Male. He says you peak at 35 years old as a male. Women peak in their mid-20s. You're still making more money at 20-something years old. Here's my famous quote: cash before the ass.
Yeah.
Because if you're focused on the ass, you ain't going to make the cash. Because we talk about success. If you get a woman of strength behind you,
that's a rarity.
I'm not talking. This isn't a
not
business.
A strong woman, a woman of strength.
Boom, and she's your team player, not your competitor. Why would you want to compete with your other half? I'm telling you, you will kill it.
Now what you just said. That's a rare occasion, but that does happen. There is times where, like, you're in your early 20s, you meet an awesome girl, and she's just as driven. She's like, hey, let's go fucking conquer the world together.
Right.
I have dreams, you have dreams. Let's fucking hold each other accountable, lay out a blueprint, plan it out, and I'm going to run with you. That's rare. It happens. It exists. Like, you look at Alex and Layla Hormozi. They're worth 9 figures. They just sold the business for $100 million.
Right.
They're younger than both. They're younger than me. They are early 30s, like 31 or 32. Net worth of $100 million.
Yeah.
They have a business called acquisition.com. I'm not even promoting them. They don't even know that I talk about them.
Oh, I've talked with her.
I know.
I've talked with her.
Because I set you up with them. I linked you up with her.
Yeah.
These guys are worth $100 million because they are that one rare occasion. They met many years ago. She went to business with him. They clicked. She was all about business, mindset, success. I want to jump on the same mission with you. And he said, okay. Then he realized, he even talks about the interviews, he realized, like, I just like being around her because she's actually focus driven.
Right.
She's purpose driven. And I believe I can do more with her by my side. And so, and again, they're in their early 30s worth 9 figures. But that's very rare. But because a woman came into his life and says, I will be your teammate. I don't want to compete against you. I will compete with you.
Right. And he's probably taking the lead.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely.
So,
but that goes back to our data, right? Our analytics, our data, our experience, who we deal with. I track stuff. The data, my data is young compared to like a Jordan Peterson, his data, right? Clinical psychologist, which are taking his certification.
They're trying to,
They're trying to, which is sad. But you got people like that have been doing it for years. He's written articles in psychology books. He's read every one of them, right? So, but my data I'm getting what's scary is I'm coming up with data too from these single women. And it's like, your ego's getting in the way. Your ego's getting in the way because you want to be masculine. And if you want to be a team player, you're not going to be a team player like them if you have that ego.
You know what's funny about that too is a whole bunch of, I'm just going to say it, not high valued women are calling this mentality of ours toxic. And first of all, you don't want a needy man. That's one. Second of all, if you actually find it toxic, then what's not toxic? A fat, lazy piece of shit man that just wants to fucking stick by your side every day and hold hands and watch Netflix with you?
That's why I said if you want affection all the time, buy a cat or a dog, right? Like at the end of the day, how I don't think they realize what we do. We don't sit around. It's very rare. Now I love watching Netflix, but I don't have the time. I love to chill and relax. But man, when I'm during the holidays, Sean, I was grinding. Christmas, hey kids, open the present, everybody happy. Oh yeah, eat, get fat, boom. I'm back on the computer. What are you doing? I was working till 3 a.m. You see some of my messages. I respond to you. I'm building my empire. I'm building my brand. I'm working on my.
You know what's funny? As you're saying this, I can see it now because this is where those women come in that attack us, say, oh, well, he could take his money and be single. And it's like, hey, let me give some of you a reality check before you spit out, well, good luck with our money, we'll be single. First of all, he's not single, I'm not single. We both have very, very, very beautiful partners that are very, very, very supportive about our missions. So before you start throwing bullshit out there.
Yeah, and then they
take a good look in the fucking mirror. And tell me how proud of yourself you are and how valuable you are before you actually try to come over here and criticize who we are, because the ones that are, you guys don't look the part. You guys are not even on the radar of the men that are actually doing something with their life. Because as a man, our responsibility is to be physically, mentally, and financially strong. Without those three, as a man, in a relationship, and as a father, if I don't have all three of those, I am giving the worst version or a subpar version of myself back to my family. So all three of those have to be on point at all times. There's no fucking off button. We are on 24/7, 365 to give the absolute best version of ourselves back to our family and back to the world. If any one of those three is compromised, we're giving the worst. Women, that goes for you too. You have to be physically strong. You have to be emotionally strong. You cannot be out of shape and think that you're bringing value to the table, because let me tell you something. The body wants affection, sex, intimacy. The heart wants love. The soul wants peace. All three of these are requirements in a healthy relationship. If one of these three is compromised, guess what? Your relationship will at some point die.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, mentally, physically, financially strong on the man. The female has to be emotionally and physically strong, and then you have to have body, heart, and soul. All those have to be taken care of. That's how you build and establish a very healthy relationship. Any one of those is missing, it slowly starts to downward spiral.
I posted something on this about single ladies get rid of your women that are in relationships get rid of your single lady friends, right? And I had all these women come after me, and I posted my girlfriend's IG on there. I said she made that choice herself. Is, oh, you're controlling. Look, I'm going to say this.
That's another word that's been tossed around.
First of all, she made the decision not to hang out with single women because she didn't want to be a counselor. Okay?
Well, she doesn't want to be responsible in the DD, man.
Okay,
come on.
Hold on. Second of all, I told him, do you realize how busy we are where she doesn't have time to do that? When we have free time, we hang out with each other, right? So
and then you'll have maybe somebody else hanging out with you.
Watch this. I have my tech company. I do some investments. I also have this podcast.
And now we're starting Break Free University.
You're starting that, and I've got a product line I'm starting, right? Nootropics, right? So we're constantly going to the next level. We're not just sitting here going, we're comfortable. No, we're always grinding. We're always doing something. So when you say, oh, you won't let her go out. No, I don't let her go out. She decides not to, because guess what? When we have free time, we're with each other, and that free time's rare. And so we cherish that free time. So we're not sitting around watching, like I said, Netflix with cats and boxed wine, watching The Notebook with our sweatpants on and our hair in a fucking rubber band.
Well, here's the thing, too. The public scene and the public eye is not a safe place anymore like it used to be. It's not. That's just the reality of it. No matter how you want to argue that, it's not. You never know what's going to happen. And if you go around whether you're with a bunch of sloppy guys or sloppy females that just want to, drink and be silly and sloppy, that's when trouble starts to happen. When people start to get taken advantage of. Boom. Bad shit starts to happen.
Yep. Too much free time.
Being in a bad position.
Yep.
Like, you can't, like, my girlfriend doesn't like going out with her single girlfriends either. Because at the end of the day, that attracts bad shit.
Absolutely.
And my girl knows that her safety, not just to her, but to me, is extremely important.
My grandfather used to tell me, he said, nothing good happens after 11 p.m. at night.
No.
Isn't that funny? And then when you think about, what are you doing after 11 p.m.?
Her and I are fucking tired by the time like 9 p.m., 10 o'clock rolls around. Like you and I, we have dinner coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah. And I asked for a later date.
You asked for a later date. I said, no, I was like 7, dude. I'm fucking tired. Like, it's past my bedtime.
And I'll be playing cash games, poker at night, right?
Yeah.
On the weekends. And then I'm grinding during the weekday. That's what we do. I keep myself busy, but she's with me. Puma's with me 24/7. And when she's not, you know what she says? I miss you. I want to be next to you.
Right.
And a lot of times I'm grinding like this, and she comes in my office and she gives me a kiss.
Just to touch you,
goes, so I'm going to make you breakfast. You want something to eat? I got the house cleaners coming over. Oh, I cleaned this. I did this. I did the laundry. And she lives like a freaking queen.
Yeah.
And we get along. Before, when we didn't, it was that battle. It was that ego. It was that masculinity. She tried me. And as a man, I stood my ground respectfully, not aggressively.
Right.
Not out of fear, not an evil dictator. I said,
no, just your personal principles.
And I'm going to say this to the women that challenge us. You have a choice. You don't like it. You don't have to be with a high value man.
That's not control or manipulation.
There's the door. There's the door. So you say, well, I would never be with a guy like that.
Then don't.
Then don't. But you don't qualify. You probably couldn't be with a guy like that.
Like, giving you the option doesn't mean it's manipulation. And there's a lot of women that said that to us. They said, you giving a woman an option to leave or stay is manipulation. Like, no, it's not. How are you even completely changing the term of what manipulation is? Manipulation control means I'm conning you to not have the ability to think for yourself and make a decision that's in my favor.
And the woman that does that, that's narcissism in itself. She wants to manipulate you. And I can't tell you, after my divorce, how many women I chose not to be with because they didn't fall in line with my system, with what I wanted. And I said, here's how I operate. Here's the ground rules of engagement. Here's the foundation. That's a deal breaker. Boom. And beautiful. I'm like, ooh. But you know what? We all know long term that's very, very, very demeaning and toxic.
The girl whose comment I read earlier, I DM'd her and I said, hey, thanks for supporting the clip and making a profound statement. With that being said, your comment was probably one of the better ones that I will more than likely read on the next episode that we film this next week. And so I asked her, what's your take and why do you believe that this is happening in current society today? Her response: A woman with a feminine core will naturally be attracted to a masculine man, but for her to be able to handle him, or vice versa, I know we don't like that term, she needs to be able to do her healing and deal with her trauma. A lot of women want a high value man because they think they are high value, but actually are not. What they are is extremely insecure and chasing after status, attention, validation, you name it, because they don't want to deal with their issues. So what happens there is they try to turn a perfectly great masculine man an emasculated little bitch so they feel equal. When the reality is men and women will never be equal. This is coming from a woman. It isn't a woman's job to be equal to a man. I think society has forgotten that a woman has a power of God. My womb allows me to literally bring souls to the world, and my job is to nurse and nurture those souls. A man's job is to build my temple and protect the life he created. That is the whole point of the masculine and feminine coming together. The other side of the coin is what I used to do. You are attracted to projects and potential, so you date down and try to build them up. 100% I felt like a man and left. But that was to do with my own unhealed wounds. Not sure if that quite answers your question. And I'm like, that was perfectly said.
Boom. Isn't that awesome?
Thanks, Del.
No, that's good.
She nailed it.
She did. And that's the whole challenge, you know. You said the equality thing. I like to talk about that because, you know, there's equal opportunity and there's equality for opportunity, equality for outcome, which are both controversial, right? So the problem we're seeing now is equality for opportunity. And the problem we're having is they're trying to be fair to everybody, but then you skew the ability and the skill set for an individual because they got hired based upon race, gender background, LGBTQ or whatnot. And so with the women, like I said back in 1965, when the feminist movement started, it was about choice. We want a choice. We want the right to have a choice. And then from there, it went to this whole equality thing. And now they're trying to emasculate men. And now we have a war on attrition. And the war on attrition is these young 18 to 25-year-olds, these 26-year-olds to 30-year-old men are becoming emasculated by society.
Because they're saying you're toxic.
Right. And now they're buying into it.
Not to be a man.
And they're turning into beta. And now you have these virtue signaling guys that get on our Instagrams. They're the most dangerous people. And they're not even beta. They're actually omega.
They're actually like just complete soft. And because I went and looked at some of the guys that said shit to us about like completely were against what we were talking about, even on what I said about no compromise. And I'm like, dude, you're just your appearance. You are soft.
And we're judging. We are judging.
I am judging, 100%.
Because you're not a warrior.
You don't look like a soldier.
No.
You look like a soft man. You look like someone who's not purposeful driven. You look like a fucking video gamer that sits in a room but yet you want to sit there and talk shit. And it's like, dude, are you actually driving to do anything to make a difference in the world?
No.
Because you certainly do not look like the man that I would ever follow.
He's an orbiter that's waiting around the perimeter.
Boom. And he's siding with the female. So
because he wants what?
What he can't get.
Exactly. We didn't say it. P. He wants a P. Right?
Look, you have soft. Here's in line the most dangerous people that are against masculinity. You got soft men. You have feminists. And then you have the feminine man. The feminine man is 1,000 times more dangerous for masculine men.
And we're not talking about a gay man.
No. I'm not talking about a gay man or a transgender.
We're talking about
I'm talking about literally a feminine man who is still a male that actually likes women, that wants to have normal sex, but still, the feminine man is 1,000 times more dangerous than even a feminist, because one, they are going to fight people like you and I, and they are going to help feminism grow more. The only backing that feminism has, besides from other feminists, is the feminine man. The soft man is kind of confused, orbiting around like, I'm not sure what's right, I'm not sure what's wrong. The feminine man is actually 100% against masculinity.
So that's right on. And my point was, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. It's how you deliver the message. If you attack us personally and say all this condescending crap,
you're going to be single, go live by whatever.
It's not.
You know what? Let me just hold on. Wait. Before you even go forward, I have to say this: a very high achieving, successful man that takes care of his mind, body, and bank account. To think or assume that he's going to be single because he's so driven, you're out of your fucking mind. That is the most asinine statement you can make, because that man can literally has a buffet of options. And I don't say that in a negative or derogatory way, but there are women out there. There are high quality value women that love that feature because they're like, you know what? I want to be that man's wife. I want to take care of his children. I want his children. I want to take care of his home. I want to give him what he wants so that he can go do more.
Yeah, it's disagree. Look, no,
we're not going to be single.
No.
Succeeding men that are physically, mentally, and financially strong are never going to be single.
If they're single for that minute, that day, that week, that month, that year,
that's a choice.
That's their choice.
It's a choice.
That's their choice. I was out last night. Most beautiful woman I ever saw was talking to me. And I was like, see that woman over there?
That's my girl.
That's my girl. And she looked and she smiled. And my girl wasn't jealous. She understands that. But as a man, we also understand that men are going to approach our women. And so when we go out, we expect that. We expect that guys are going to try to talk to them. Happens all the time. But we have options. We have options. And we
just don't execute.
The top 10% of men have options, and you don't like that. And so you come at us with this negative BS. It's like, look, that's the way life is. And there's nothing against an average man either. Well, not at all. Nothing wrong with the average man. There's some good men out there. But
yeah, just don't think that you're going to get a high value man if you're going to be sloppy, overweight, and just bring absolutely no value to the table. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of it. Because no qualified man that is taking care of every realm of his personal life is going to look at you. And that's not to be an asshole, but that's just the truth.
It's like who do you see on yachts in Monaco? 19, 20, 24-year-old girls, right? They have value immediately. You don't see a 35-year-old woman on there with 2 kids from 2 different husbands that's out of shape.
Yeah. Now,
and there's nothing wrong. And I'm not attacking you as a person. I'm just telling you that a woman's value is based on looks initially from a man, right? That's a sexual marketplace value. Then there's the total marketplace value, which I coined phrase, and that's the overall picture of the woman. Oh. Yeah, she looks good, she's great, she's feminine. Now, how does she work in a relationship, right? Is she driven? Is she supportive? Does she know her role in the relationship? Like I know my role. I'm responsible for that house to move forward, right? So you don't...
You also have a son who you have to be a good example for.
Yeah, and he's like, Dad, I know you work a lot. Yeah, I work a lot. So you know what? Your ass is benefiting from it. You got a roof over your head. You know what I mean? I'm giving him the opportunity that I didn't have.
Your son has to be able to look at you as his father and be like, I want to be like Dad. Like if you are a dad and you are not the hero of your son, you need to fucking fix that shit. You cannot be.
I better send him a text and ask him.
You cannot be a fat, sloppy, weak man who's not purpose-driven, that doesn't take care of himself mentally and physically or financially. That is not an example of a man. Now, on the flip side, if you are a single woman raising a son, because the man that you used to be with, who is his father, is a piece of shit. I know that. There are shitty-ass guys out there. I'm not even denying that. But if you are a single woman raising a son, do not try to raise him by yourself to become a man. You do not have the ability or the capability to do so.
Thank you.
That's a fact. What you need to do is get him to church. Get him around strong, solid men that are in relationships so they can learn on what it's like to be a man, how to be a strong man, how to be a good lover, a good father, a good man in society and in the community. Like you need to get him around qualified men. Don't try to become the dad as a mom. Yeah, it does not work. You cannot teach him these things.
Now, you might get him out of high school with good grades into college, but that doesn't mean you won. And I've seen this 1,000 times over. You created a soft boy, and he's going into a man's world. And I counseled a lady, and then we talked about this 6 months ago. We had this debate. She's like, well, I'm raising him to be a good man. You can't. You're not a man. You don't know it.
It's like you don't know what a man's world is like.
Let me give you an example. When I had my kids, okay, when I was divorced, I had my kids, and I was talking with people. Oh, I understand you can't do this because you have kids. I was like, you don't understand you don't have kids. You can assume that you understand from an outside perspective. Until you have kids, the whole dynamic is different. And I said this to this lady. I said, you can't raise your son to be a good man. He goes, no, he's a gentleman, da-da-da-da, this and that. I go, you're going to teach him to be a woman like you. Be with a woman like you, and you're masculine and divorced and cranky. And you left your husband because he didn't want to have a kid, yet you guys had a kid and you still divorced him. So now you're teaching him to be with someone like you. Do you want your son with someone like you? And she didn't answer me. Or do you want him with a successful marriage? You want him to be divorced. You're teaching him that, right? So I navigate my son through life. And for me, he's not even thinking about women. It's about success.
Trey, how old are you?
19.
He's 19. The next 11 years of his life is hard, focused, purpose-driven, become successful, be a leader like his dad, and do great shit.
Right.
That's his fucking responsibility as a young man to become a man's man in today's world. He's got 11 years. He's got 11 years to do it.
And his sister, who's 15, my girlfriend's mentoring her. And she's like, no, Taylor, this is how you become a lady. Like, because my daughter.
Say that again.
She's like, no, Taylor, this is how you become a lady.
Boom.
Because my daughter gets off with her friends and they're doing this stuff.
Stupid
and she's like,
shit.
oh, no, I don't want to, I'm going to wear boy jeans and this and that. She's like, no.
You need to be feminine.
This is how, she's still going to go to college. She'll still be successful. But she's teaching her, if she's going to be with a man, how to be with a man. Right? And
how to be a woman.
Puma's got her in check.
Right.
Because her friends, they already got that masculine energy. And I said, who taught you that? My mom. I go to their mom. And I look at their mom's situation. Alone, out of shape, unattractive.
Or with a sloppy man.
They don't even have men.
Even worse.
But they're bitter. So just because you failed or didn't succeed at something, don't push that on your kids. That's what I say. I want my son to be better than me. I want him to be better than me. I'm teaching him how to navigate through mistakes. Don't do that. I did it.
Right.
Don't do that.
Your responsibility is to help him get to where you are, but 10 times faster.
And he's already ahead of me.
The same thing when I coach people, my job is to help them to do the things that I did 10 times faster. That's what good leadership is. Good leadership is developing leaders to be that next one in line, but be better than you and do it faster than you.
I like it.
There's no in between, no compromise in that.
So I'm going to shift gears. Can we talk about this project you're working on, your project?
Break Free University. Well, no, you're in this, he's in this. Break Free University. This is all about, and it's not just for men, it's for everybody.
That sounds like the hair commercial. Just for men.
For some of the things we talked about from a perspective of mental health, drugs, alcohol, any vices that you're really struggling with, depression, any kind of mental barriers you're having, but we're also going to be teaching and educating skill sets on business, on life, on finances, on editing videos, like all the things that they didn't teach us in school, that you want to learn how to succeed and become a strong human that succeeds in business. We're going to be giving all of it, and it's going to be taught by 6, 7, 8-figure earners. And
you're going to have like training modules. You're going to have, classes, courses, all that stuff.
Yeah, weekly calls.
Wow.
Like I said, it's basically one massive mentorship, personal development program that's available for everybody. It's going to be very inexpensive and cheap because we want everyone to be able to have access to it. We want people to be able to escape from the mold, break free from their mental incarceration.
The matrix.
Not even the matrix. Yeah, that's part of it. But a lot of people, both men and women, you're in this mental prison. Even down to the level of insecurity, for example. You're in a mental prison. You're incarcerating yourself emotionally, and you wonder why you're struggling getting ahead in life. Mm. We're going to teach you all that. We're going to educate you. We're going to provide the exact blueprint you need to get there. Mm. We're going to be teaching on nutrition, on exercise, how to get healthy, how to prioritize, how to structure your day, how to time block.
Right.
All the things that have helped you, myself, and other people that are going to be teaching this course to become successful, but also actually teaching you real life skills too. Like I said, our video editor, he's going to be teaching video editing classes, how to record, the right tools, the right cameras, how to properly edit. Because let me tell you something, digital marketing right now is a fucking need.
Oh, big time.
And if you got a badass motherfucker like him or Trey, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's high in demand. And that's why I partnered him in.
Nice. And now...
Or like executive recruiting, how to be a good recruiter,
right,
how to be a good coach. Like all these things are going to be included at a very small penny. We're not going to talk about it yet. But definitely reach out to us if you have an interest, because we will roll out a pre-sale probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
And I know we talked about mental health for men. Let's talk about mental health for women.
Okay.
Because I know that you're in that area too, where you coach. I know that I won't say the person's name, but we both know her, and I know she recently moved, but she's done a tremendous life change. And I am saying this in a positive. Great woman, great lady, was going through some stuff, transformed her body. I'm sure there's some mental challenges there.
A lot.
Bad relationship with a person that was just not healthy. mentally and physically. But she's somebody that I've seen a result that you've impacted her life, and she's changed. And she's in a different state now, but she is amazing. An amazing woman. Guys, let me tell you, from what I've seen when I got here, and then before, which I didn't know her, and now where she's at now, it's a totally different person.
Right. And because of that, it earned herself a 7-figure contract into one of my companies.
Amazing.
That's why she moved, because that's where I'm moving the corporate headquarters for it. And let me kind of circle back to what we're talking about. She's a single mom with 3 children, 2 boys, 1 daughter. She made sure that her oldest son, the other one is autistic, he's still super young.
Yeah.
But the oldest one, she enrolled him into my mentorship program alongside with her. And I've spent 2 years of one-on-one time with him on how to become a man, how to develop yourself, how to focus on your personal growth, what your responsibilities are going to be, how to lead your mom and your sister and your little brother into the next life.
Nice.
What type of skill sets you need, how you're going to protect your family, how hard you have to work, the sacrifices you're going to have to make. And I was killing it.
Yeah, she's amazing. And then you had another gal who you're working with, and I'm not saying they have mental health issues, but
I mean, it all falls in the category.
She relocated to Nashville.
Just moved.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. So these people were living in Vegas that I personally knew them, met them through Sean, women of influence, I would call them, and women of strength. And he's mentored and coached them for 2+ years each, or maybe?
Yeah, they're still with me.
Yeah, and then one moved to Texas and one moved to Nashville.
And because they submitted to wanting to learn the game of life.
Right.
Not like people need to stop thinking of the word submit as a negative.
You're submitting to a purpose, or you're moving forward.
To knowledge, to education,
knowledge, yeah.
being taught something.
Yeah.
And she went from being an alcoholic, barely making $30,000 a year, to 5Xing that income.
And you know, it's amazing. We talk about that. You'll go submit to your boss at your job, but you won't submit to your partner, your husband. I don't get it. You know? Oh, I don't want to get in trouble. I got to be on time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll do the spreadsheet. I'll do the metrics.
But yeah, I mean, but she succeeded. She 5X'd her income. She bought herself a new car. She was able to move herself without worrying about debt to a whole different state, like 1,800 miles away. No issues, no challenges, no debt. Her business is killing it. She's succeeding. She is a woman of God. She goes to church.
Great gal.
I mean, that's a young, high value. She's 32 or 33. She's a high value woman of faith.
Awesome.
Faith comes first.
Yeah.
And I'm beyond proud of both of them. I have great friendships with them. I definitely consider them as some of my best friends.
Yeah, they're amazing.
You know, and my girlfriend is friends with them too.
Oh yeah.
You know, and again, being purpose driven. Like
right.
my purpose is to not just help people go from one point in their life into a whole another different place, but for me, it's wanting to see the people that I care and love about win and succeed as well. Because I can coach all these people in the world, and I love doing that. That's my passion. But the reason why I drive as hard as I do, because I could stop right now and live a fucking phenomenal life. But it requires a certain level of wealth to do the things that I want to do, to be able to provide my circle of friends, the people that I care about the most.
Right.
I give them opportunities to become mega wealthy and mega successful and lead their families the way they desire. That's something that has always, since I was a kid, I've wanted to be that one. I want to be that one that gives opportunities to my best friends and the people that I love and care about to be able to build wealth.
Right.
And become successful. I want to be that guy.
I like it.
And so that's why I've always used the term all gas, no brakes. That's why I don't slow down. That's why I don't compromise. Because in lieu of that, my girlfriend rides the benefits with me. She's not excluded. We have planned out date nights. We have date nights twice a week. There's church. There's lunch dates. Like, it's not I'm just driving and we barely spend any time together. It's all scheduled in my calendar. And it's all set days of the week. And it's not about the quantity of time that her and I are spending together. It's the quality of time that we're spending together. Because let me tell you something. If I had all this time in the fucking world to spend with my girl, it's not quality anymore.
No.
Because at some point, we're just going to be sitting here watching fucking TV, Netflix, on our phones, barely spending any time, like actual real quality time together.
None at all.
Where it's like, when her and I get together, phones are off, no business, no texts, maybe pictures for ourselves, and we'll post about it later.
Right.
But there's quality to her and I. For the quality of time that we spend together, it's significant. It's a fraction of what most couples spend together, but I can guarantee you that our quality of time is more significant than those couples that spend a whole ton of time together.
Oh yeah.
Because guess what? There's a different level of appreciation and love for the time that we spend together because it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's like fresh when you started dating. Remember the first 90 days, they have that, what they call honeymoon phase. But when you're around each other all the time, we're around each other, but we're not, right? I'm in my office. I'm in my studio at home. I'm grinding away. And then she'll be doing her thing. She'll go to the gym. She works out twice a day, right? Does meal preps. And then I'll see her. And then, hey, like today, I saw her, the first time I saw her was at 3:30. Right. And then, you know, she made me some food and I spent a little bit of time and I said, I got to get ready. I got to change, you know, I got a podcast. And then she's like, well, I'm going back to the gym. So I'll see her again tonight. Right. And then I got more stuff I got to do.
Right. Like, can you imagine? 'Cause she actually used to have you know about this. She used to have a feminine male friend who's married.
Who? Your girl?
Yeah, my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
She had a feminine male friend. He's married. That used to try to be in an ear. He works too much. You deserve this. You deserve better. Da, 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 da. And it's like, listen, you dumb fuck. There's a reason that she was attracted to me in the first place.
Right.
Not my looks, because she's attractive too. She can go get any guy she wants. I can go get any girl. Like, it's not even. We passed the first line of physical attraction. She was attracted to my principles, my values, my drive.
Right.
That I am a no compromise motherfucker.
I remember that.
She's like, that's what I'm attracted to. That's what I like about Sean. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He works out. He takes care of his mind, his body, his bank. Of course she's not going to ask me to fucking compromise.
No.
Because she's like, that's what why would you ask or expect your man or your woman, if you're the dude who's being a dipshit, to compromise the very things you were attracted to?
You don't. You don't.
Because guess what? If they compromise it, little by little, you start to lose respect for that person. Little by little, you start to lose attraction for that person because the thing you were attracted to is no longer there anymore.
Hey, that's why I tell women in a relationship, get rid of your single lady friends. Well, that was a single lady, that dude. That's the perfect example.
In a marriage.
Yeah, but that's my point.
Right.
They're in your ear talking shit because they're envious and jealous that you're happy moving forward. They don't have what you have, and what you have, they want, and they can't have it.
This dude's like, why is Sean buying a car? Why is he doing this? Why is he wasting money? Like, bro, my car has made me, my car on its own has made me more money than what you make in a fucking year.
Yes.
Because that car puts me in front of other people. That car knocks down doors. That car puts me in rooms that you can't get in regardless of the wealth you have. There's car clubs. Like, did you know that if you own a Bugatti, you don't have to be a billionaire. If you own a Bugatti, you get into the billionaires club. You get invited to special events that only Bugatti owners get into.
Yes,
and you're probably the most broke person there.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Absolutely.
It's not just about the status that comes with a car. It's about certain types of vehicles have communities and camaraderies with individuals that say, hey, you got a nice car, you got some good taste. Let's talk about business together.
You have arrived. You have arrived. Nobody can just go buy a Bugatti. And I see this all the time. Well, my Tesla's faster. Dude, it's a freaking smartwatch that you're driving. Nobody cares. Sorry. Just being honest. Bugatti.
Lambo, Ferrari.
Koenigsegg. You know, you name it, right? McLaren's. It's a whole different level of association. And what's interesting, I was watching something Grant Cardone said. He said, when I was a millionaire initially, he goes, I was getting invited to hang out with other millionaires. He said, once I started getting close to $1 billion, then I started getting asked to hang out with billionaires. He said, it's a whole different level.
Why do you think I go to Aspen?
Exactly. Well, we
Like
know that.
I know that, but the thing is, like, some people think like, well, Sean, you might make 7 figures, but why would you spend $10,000 on an Aspen trip? Because the fucking people I meet there.
It's investing in your future.
When I went to, we talked about this last time. When I went to Aspen, just before it was right after Thanksgiving or just before, I don't remember. Sorry, it was just before Christmas. I met 2 multi, like high 9-figure guys because I was in the town of billionaires. I got myself around wealth. So spending 10 G's for 4 or 5 days to meet these kind of people, guess what? One's starting his own charter jet.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Right? Another guy is in some kind of, he's got some kind of high-end art that he sells. They're like, each piece of art is $100,000 minimum. And it's like, what type of conversation do you think I'm having with these people? What type of business deals do you think I'm going to have when I associate myself with these guys and actually try to establish a real life friendship and relationship with them?
I'll tell you what, you're not having them compromising with some gal that's a feminist and giving up their values and their drive for a woman. They're not, like you said, it's all focused. And it's funny because back when they had the rodeo here in Vegas, I was in the cigar lounge, right? I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I do cigars, right? So I met the guy, the Angus guy, the Angus beef, and he's got his own private jet. And we're sitting there talking. You think I would have met him in a VIP section at the club? No. Do you think I'd meet him hanging out at partying? No. These guys don't do that. It's part of your association. And I wasn't there for that, but we started striking up a conversation.
This is why the no compromise rule exists.
And you know what he said? He said, see all those guys there? I go, yeah. He goes, they're broke. They act like they have money. He goes, those are managers for Angus. He goes, but they're broke. They didn't got no money. See how they're acting like they have money? And this guy was an older guy, just sitting there chilling. I stepped on his shoe and I said, I'm sorry, can I buy a drink? He goes, I don't drink. He said, I don't drink. I bought him a Perrier water. We started talking. He flew out here on his private jet. I said, are you with all these guys? He goes, no, they're with me. I'm not with them. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, they act like they have money, but they're broke. They have a different mindset. And so to your point, where do we associate? We associate with people that have success. We want to breed that and be around it so we can grow and go to the next level.
And give that back to our family. Like the fact that the idea of no compromise is some toxic trait or some narcissistic trait or like it's some kind of a negative. How the fuck are you supposed to give back to your family and give them the experiences that they deserve and that they want? Because obviously naturally there will come a point where I'll slow down, where you'll slow down, where I can now take my mega wealth and spend more time with my family. But there comes sacrifice. There comes like these things that are part of your priority list, including your family. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 list. Sometimes the order of that, I learned this a long time ago. I learned this by somebody who's a billionaire. He mentored me I worked with him for about a couple months. I just needed to understand a few things. I wasn't close enough to be able to climb to that level yet. This is 10 years ago. And he's like, listen, Sean, as a man, as a family man, you're going to have certain priorities. There's your family, there's your business, there's this. He's like, the thing is that although they're all equally important, sometimes the order of that priority list is going to change. It has to change. There has to be flexibility with your family and then understanding that sometimes business has to be at the top of the priority list. Sometimes faith is at the priority list. Sometimes family is at the priority list. Sometimes finances are at the top of the priority list. But there's an order of these, and it's going to get moved around as you go through life, because as you develop yourself and you develop your business and your success and your empire, your family sometimes has to know that you need their support so you can go tackle on what you're going after, so that eventually you can come back and give it back to them.
Good stuff, man. Right on. Hey, that was Sean Alexander the Great.
I like it.
You like that?
I'll fucking take it.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. Again, this is another episode of Black Ice Reality Check, where the truth will set you free. Make sure, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification indicator, and share this video. And we'll be back again next week with another hot topic.
And get ready for Break Free University.
Right on. Stay strong.